Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the stream. We are going to keep working on our AR Lego game here. Let's just have a look at what we currently have. Don't mind my look today. I actually look quite awful because of, I don't know, the lighting, probably. But who cares about that? We got our Lego game. We've got the same thing we had last episode, basically. We were able to put some colors in. We were able to just create some shapes. And what I actually think we're going to be doing today is mostly creating first a undo button. Not really an undo, but just a remove button. So a delete button on our cubes so you can actually remove them. And also remove them from the array. We're going to keep track of the color as well. We weren't doing that last episode. We weren't keeping track of the color we put on the cubes. And the reason I want to do this is when we actually do save, then we need to know what color is the actual cube. So we are gonna get started right now. Actually, let's simply open up the game manager. I guess we have one. Yep, here it is. And let me just boot that on the other screen so you guys can see. We are looking for the good project. That'd be like our very first step. We're looking for our array here. So we have a public array of blocks. We save, what do we save? We save only the block transform thus far. We are going to save the block color as well now. So public block color. And where do we actually add to this array? Let's go have a look. This is where we actually had it. So block transform is equal to geola transform. That's cool. Now we're gonna say color. Oh, we need the comma first. My bad. We're gonna say color is going to equal the selected color. And now our data should actually be stored right into the right into the actual array. Now, as far as the delete button goes, we need to actually have a delete button. I was thinking about making this another color, and like you would choose color delete, and it would just remove cubes instead. I'm not sure if that is a good idea though. But I think we're gonna do it in a other way actually, just a toggle on and off. But that's also gonna be on the color menu. So the very first button in the color menu is gonna be the delete, or it might be the very last. Whichever makes more sense. We can actually just change it later on, of course. So basically we're not gonna be creating a block color. We simply are going to create a button called toggle delete. For that, we'll need an actual function, public void toggle delete. And in here, let's just set a boolean to true or false. That boolean can be is deleting. So by default, is deleting is false, and when we toggle delete, is deleting is equal to is not deleting. So we're simply going to be just be swapping these things around. And now we can also have an actual visual effect plugged into that a little bit later on if we need to. And let's go have a look here. So if we press on the mouse button, if we hit the target, and that target is not... Okay, let's go again. So if we press on the mouse button, we hit the target, then we create a block. Where do we create a block exactly? Okay, so if we do hit the block, then it's gonna go in there. If we don't hit the block, we hit the foundation, and the foundations are supposed to be down here. Sorry about that. Still, again, still recovering for the same cold I had for like 2 weeks now. So if we do hit the cube, and we're currently deleting, so if is deleting, or actually no, that's not it. That's if we actually hit the floor. Because block at the x, y, and z is equal to null. Alright. Sorry, I haven't opened this project in like 5 days and I totally forgot about this code. Okay, so this is where we get the position. That's cool. Now, if there's nothing, we go ahead and we create something. We replace the block by a new block. And let's say we hit the block, then we get the normal. Okay, so here it is. If we do hit another block, we have the hit dot transform in here. So let's go ahead and do something with that. We're gonna say if is deleting, then we don't need to create a block, but we have to actually find the index of the old one, of the old block actually. So how do we go about doing this? What if we do a debug.log of the current index we have? Just so I can actually remember what's going on here. So technically this one at the bottom, once we get the actual thing. Okay, here it is. This one right here should be 0, 0, 0, so let's click, and again. And we don't even get any messages. What am I doing wrong this morning? Okay, there has to be something. I'm not... Oh, well, I'm not deleting, so that's a first. That's a bit stupid, actually. Let's put it here. Sorry about that. I'll get into the mood in a second. Okay, so if I'm hitting something, we should actually get a message. If I'm hitting on the sides, we get a message. If I'm hitting on the top, I don't think we're getting a message. No, we're not. So that's not gonna work. I'm going to recreate the logic, not from scratch, but I'm going to recreate the logic from, I'm just going to create a branch, basically. So if we manage to hit something and that something is not the floor, and I'm currently deleting, we'll do something about it. So do we have anything with the floor? Foundation, we only have the name, so let's go ahead and take this name. And if we press on the mouse button and then if hit.target, if hit.name of if hit.transform.name is equal to foundation is not equal. Okay, so if we're not hitting the foundation, means we're hitting cube. So if we're not hitting the foundation and is deleting, we'll put is deleting before because it's always being evaluated first. So if this one is false, we're not even doing this one. We're not going to be doing the test against the string, so we might be saving a little bit of memory, since this one is probably more costly than the first one. Well, no, it is more costly than the first one. So if we're deleting and we're not hitting a foundation, it means we're hitting a cube, basically. Now we just have to make sure that the cube we're hitting actually exists. So what I'll do is I'll just take this again. Or you know what, I'm not going to bother with that too much. I'm going to be moving what I've done instead. So take this call and put it just right beneath. So if we're deleting and transform.name is not equal to foundation, let's do a debug.log of the actual index. Now, I want this to work at all times, so I'll just put that on true right now, since we don't have our toggle on and off or delete. Let's try this. So we do get something. So 117, if we click here, that's 91 something, and if we click there, okay, so we do get the index of the cube. Do we get it on the side as well? Let's try this. We seem to get the good one as well. So we're hitting the good cubes. Let's go ahead and just delete them now. So if we're deleting, actually, if we're just hitting another cube, let's take our block array, so blocks X, Y, and Z, and we'll just have this transform, so transform, and we'll delete it. So destroy blocks, or can we actually use a game object? We probably can. No, we can't. Okay, let's go with the block transform, then the game object. Alright, so we destroy this thing, and then what can we do? We're gonna make sure our array here is actually set on null. Okay, let's try this again. So when we press again, it should actually be gone. Oh, it's not actually set to a reference of an object, so that kind of sucks. Let's go see why. So block X, Y, and Z is not set to an object. If we're not hitting the foundation, it's not set to an object. That means the position we get is not actually the right thing. Hit that point should return out as a good thing. Hey, what's up, company 912? Currently still working on the Lego game. I'm struggling a bit this morning. I haven't opened this code in like 5 days, so I'm kind of confused with my previous code. I should have been commenting this a lot more. But we're doing with what we have. Right now we have me in the morning trying to figure out how to do these things. But once we get past this, I'm sure it's gonna be good. Okay, so this is fine. This is also fine. If it's null, then we just instantiate on top of the actual plane. And if it's not, we create a new block. The new block is equal to the block size, and then we go to this place. Okay. We should also be setting the index for this guy here. So new index dot x, new index dot y, and new index dot z. Those have to be ints, unfortunately, so gonna be casting this as an int. It's gonna look very, very ugly in our code until we decide to clean it up. Alright, let's give it one more try. Hopefully we've got it this time. Well, probably won't fix all our problem, but no reference. Why? Why is it still doing no reference? And where is it doing it? Same exact place. Okay, so I'm trying to destroy something that does not really exist. Block transform. Okay, so the first time I go in here, then this has to be wrong. So this is the thing that is wrong. I'm gonna do debug.log on these. Z toString. Alright. So what does it say here? 3, 0, and 8. Is that fine? I'm not sure. Let's go with the actual size here. It says 0, 0, 0. So that's definitely the good place, right? That has to be the good place. And it seems to work on all the other axes. But if I click again, it does not select the actual hit dot point. That's what I want here. So I need to know what is my index. There we go. Okay, so this one assumes I'm actually pressing on, I get it now. So it's basically just returning me where the new cube should be spawning, but I want where the old cube is actually supposed to be at. So hit that point. Hit that point in this case returns me. I would assume it's returning me something like 0, 0, and then in y it would return me 0, 25. Let's go down here and check. This is definitely not so accurate. What if I actually say, what if I cheat a little bit and I say something of the sort? Index is going to be minus equal to the hit.normal times block size. And then with this new index, I should be doing another block position. Should I be doing another block position? Or you know what, let's create another index in here instead. Times block size. So this way it actually gets the one beneath it. If my logic is right, this should actually work. int.c. Okay. And we also need to do that for this guy. Alright, this is a better try, I'm sure of it. Something seems to be happening. So we're deleting, but we're also spawning another one on top. That's cool though, because we're actually deleting the old one. What if we click on the sides? On the sides doesn't seem to work. We still get no reference on the sides, but it's a very good start. Okay, so we destroy. Once we're done destroying, let's just do a return so we don't mess up with everything. The old cube is actually destroyed. That's cool. I don't know why sometimes it takes like so much effort just to get this thing rolling. There we go. Can't wait to actually use that on a mobile device so I don't have to hold it in my hand and I can actually play with something else in my mouse. So same problem as we had in like, I think it was like the second episode or the first one. It works on the left, it works on every negative axis. But if I click, say, beneath here, not beneath, but in the back, we get a null reference. And why do we get a null reference exactly? We get it because our code is a little bit spaghetti right now. So let's read this a little bit, try to figure out what we've done wrong. We take the point, we remove the normal of the block size, so that should be whatever is a good size. That's cool. And then in the block position, we what we do in the block position is we remove the decimals, so we turn this into an int. This can't be too complicated. I probably left my thinking brain somewhere. It's not currently working. No. gonna be a little bit stupid here and do something else. Do like block size plus 0.1. Okay, we still get the error. Let's go see. Same line of code. We're gonna be doing a little bit of debugging again until we figure this out. So I'll be hooking my process to Unity, and we're gonna be looking at where we click, what we can do to actually fix that. Okay, here's our sheet. We go here, press down. And if we press down, what is the hit dot normal, actually hit dot point? So we're hitting at 1.10213, okay. Let's take an easier one to look at. Oops. Like this guy. Oh, I missed it. My bad. Our hit dot point is 0.1, and our hit dot normal points towards this. So our cube index is 001. It's actually going forward. It's actually looking forward. Because we're doing minus and it just, Let's try to add some more duct tape. Duct tape fixes everything. Okay. I like this duct tape fix. It's like the perfect duct tape. Okay, right, so I'm gonna be cheating a bit. I'll do a minus 0.01 here. This way, when we actually truncate, when we actually get rid of our decimals, it's not gonna get rid of my whole number. And that's a little bit of a cheat. I think my code is pretty dirty right now, but we want to have a working prototype, and I think that's gonna do it for now. I'm so sorry about having like this shitty code, but I should have been thinking about that a little bit before starting the stream, or maybe just like making a draft or some kind of sheet. This is usually what you do, but now you see me in plain sight what I actually do when I'm not really like streaming, I guess. So if we're deleting and the transform, the one we're hitting is not the foundation, then we go ahead and we destroy our whole cube. That's fine. Now we just need a toggle on and off on that delete. We already have our button down here called toggle delete. It's public. We can go back in Unity, just find our, say the color array, why not? Should we actually put that in the color array? No, let's not put that in the color array. Let's actually put that in the UI. Let's actually use this button here. The red one's gonna be for delete. The other one next to it is gonna be for save. Save is gonna be green, just at the moment, because we don't really want to have any other, because we don't have any colors right now we can put, or icons, I mean. We have a save, we have a load. I don't know, that's gonna be another color, who cares? And let's make sure our UI element here, our delete button, actually has the function in it. So the function should be inside of game manager, I believe, and it is called toggle delete. If we give this a try now, we have our game, our very nice game. We make little shapes here, any kind of shape. So in blue, I'll be making a line. That's the best shape. And if we're not satisfied, we can click on delete. Like I gotta make sure I don't actually hit something in the back. We hit on delete and then we can remove our cubes. And if we click on something else, then another cube, it's going to start spawning again. So we might want to be removing this mechanic. I think we are going to be removing this mechanic. Let's go ahead and do it right now. So where should we be doing that? In the update, most likely. If we are deleting and our transform, okay, let's do something else. So if we are deleting, we're gonna do another if statement. If we are deleting and then afterward we do this call. Else we're simply going to hit the return. So either way, if we're deleting, we're never going to be making it past this point. Okay. Which makes me think, since we're not going to be using those in delete, let's just put them afterward. Again, let's save a little bit of memory all the time. When we can save memory, we do it. Okay, we do that. Cool, cool, cool. If I just put my cursor here, I don't know if you guys saw that, but I'm actually creating cubes, which kind of sucks. So we're gonna have to make sure that our UI actually blocked the raycast in the back. But here we go. Okay, so in terms of menu, of course, there's a lot of things to do just to make it more responsive. Actually tell the player that he's currently deleting, maybe changing the sprite or doing some animation on the button. All of that has to be done. But I think the next step we're going to be taking is, I was thinking about a save and load, but for that we need some more menu element. That we are going to do right now, actually. Right. So the reason I want to do a save and load is because I want to get rid of the whole UI right now. So when we start actually implementing some nice colors in there, we can just change the whole thing. So we change the whole UI all at once. For the save and load, I was thinking about actually popping up a list of all the save you currently have. You can have like an input field where you put some text. You can save your object as a certain a certain name. So if you're making it like a heart shape and you want to save this, you can save this as heart. Then it goes straight into player pref. The reason I'm using player pref is because why not, really? This is not some this is not some private data. It can't actually give you anything in the game. So why not save it in the player pref? There's no reason not to at this point. Alright, so let's actually just go right ahead. I'm going to make a new UI, a new panel. Panel is going to be in the center. And that's going to be my save dialog, and also, well, that's going to be only my save dialog actually, nothing else. Or we could be doing the save and load at the very same place. That could be cool. Let's try that. So save and load in the very same window. And I've never done this in the past. We're going to do it for the very first time here. It should not be too complicated. I believe it's not going to be too complicated. But we're simply going to get like a list of all the things we currently have saved on our device. So for that list, I am thinking about making this height change. Or we might be setting it on like 500 and add a scrolling inside of it. That could be cool as well. So how do we go about doing this? I'm going to be doing a vertical layout group. First element is going to be some kind of text. That's going to be like a save and load panel. Can put that in the center for now. Just beneath it, well, let's call this title. That's the title of the window. And just afterward, we're going to have another panel that is going to contain all the saved information. And after that, another panel that's going to contain the buttons to actually save. So, there's going to be a save button, there's going to be a load button. So that would be the list, and that would be the buttons, or the action. I like to call it action better in this case. And when we're going to resize those so we can, the list is actually bigger than the title, and the action is actually a little bit smaller, so we can do all that kind of stuff in the UI as we go. But right now I'm going to create those buttons, so let's go ahead and just create. What do we need? So let's go ahead and just have 3 buttons. First one being a save, second one being a load, and third one being a cancel, because why not? This is going to be stored inside of a horizontal layout group. They're all going to have different names, so save, load, and cancel. And I think that's going to be good actually. So next thing we need to do is take care of the list. I think I'm going to actually add this layout element I was talking about. So add the layout element, and we're going to be changing the height for, say, the preferred height for maybe 200. Is that too much? Or maybe it's not even enough. Let's do 230. That's cool. And do we need anything else? I think I'm gonna go back on my save and load and say that we do not want to expand the height. So the other one actually, you know, they have their own way to scale. We're gonna expand the width though. This is something I want to do. Might be putting a little spacing in between, and let's just put that in the middle center as well. Okay. So at this point the list can take a little bit more space. Let's go for 350. That is a lot. The title can have a layout element on it. Has a preferred height of maybe 50. We can also scale the text up, of course. And the action, I'm just going to leave them like that for now because I don't dislike the result. There might be a little bit more to do, like add a spacing to it. Maybe 20 in spacing, 10, 15 in spacing could work. And what can we be doing next? We need to actually start coding this thing. Oh yeah, of course, the width of this, I don't want this to be taking the whole screen, so I was thinking about maybe just making the size a little bit smaller, but for that I need to remove the child force expanding width, which I'm going to do now. Go back on my list, add a preferred width of maybe 400. So this is going to be, what can we actually call this? This is going to be the save list, or the, yeah, that's a save list, definitely. And we can go ahead, go back into our game manager and add a lot of fields in here. Should we actually do that in a game manager? It's actually quite messy already. I think I'm going to do a save, just a save manager. Yep, let's do that. So save manager. And I'm going to be putting the script on the same object as my game manager. So this guy is going to have a public transform save list. It's also going to have a public game object save prefab. And what else can he have? He's gonna have like a function for every button, so on save click, public void on load click, and finally public void on cancel click. And the save menu itself is going to be hidden, so I'll have another game object for this, public game object save menu. There's also going to be a confirm button, because why not? Public game object confirm menu. And save menu is going to be toggled on from somewhere else. So save menu is going to be toggled on from when you click on, you know, like our nice one button menu. You're going to have a button to save from there. So we need to have another public function on save menu click. So this is going to be to actually pop the save menu. So save menu is going to equal actually set menu dot set active is going to be true in this case. Not true, true. When we click on save, we're going to say save menu is equal to false, and we're going to say confirm menu set active. This one is now equal to true. When we click on load, let's do the exact same thing if we click on load. So are you sure you want to save and override your current progress or something like that? And when we click on cancel, then save menu set active is going to be equal to false and nothing else is going to happen. That's the very first step I think we can actually do. And on the confirm menu, of course, you can have like on confirm okay or on confirm not okay. So public void on confirm okay, and public void on confirm delete. What's going to happen in here is if we click on OK, then we're going to go ahead and just do our save or load, depending on which one we click. And we're going to shut down our window. So confirm menu dot set active is equal to false actually. And if we click on delete, we simply do set active to false. So we have all this kind of mess here. We just need to make sure that this thing is actually linked properly. A lot of stuff. Hey, thanks so much, Timon, for the $3 donation. I appreciate that quite a lot. Thanks you, man. Gonna be using that to just fuel more videos. Alright, so let's go back to making our menu here. So let's find the one button. That's the one I was looking for. So the one button, we said that inside of the UI we have our save button. So this guy, that's the green one. For now, we're gonna have an icon, like a little, you know, an actual save icon at one point. But right now we don't have anything. And we're gonna add a button component to it. So inside of that button component, there is going to be our game manager, because our game manager is the one that contains the save manager. And at this point, we just need to wire all our function we've made to the good places. So unsave menu click is the first one we want to have, and it's going to pop up this big menu. Now this big menu has a bunch of stuff in it, including the save button down here. Let's actually wire that one up. Game manager in here and save manager. When we click on save, unsave click. When we click on load, unload click. And when we click on cancel, we have, of course, uncancel click. Now, if you click on those, it's going to do something else. It's actually going to pop up the confirmation menu. This thing we don't have just yet, so let's quickly just create a draft. Why not? That is going to be the confirm menu. And I've just duplicated the save and load, but you know, a lot of things are going to go away in here. We do not need the save list. We only need really just the title is going to be, are you sure? Or, you know, confirmation. That would be better in this case. The action are going to be reduced to 2. So you're going to have like an OK button. And you're going to have a cancel button. And cancel. Obviously the sizing of those is a little bit weird right now. And I also want to add something else in there. We are going to add a text component in between, like some kind of description. So are you sure you want to load or save this object? And then we can also give a name to that object. So we can pass in some parameters a little bit later on as soon as we get this working properly. So let's see, we have the canvas, we have this thing, the confirm menu. We have some really awful buttons right now. Might want to be changing this around, so I'll be going over to... we're not actually expanding on the width, so I'm gonna go on my text, add a layout element to it, and add a preferred height of, say, 300. Or maybe like 200, and we can reduce the size of the whole menu in general. Even maybe smaller than that. 200 would be good. Again, very ugly UI, but we are going to fix it eventually. Alright, so 2 buttons are left, the OK button and the cancel. Let's go ahead and wire them up. They're actually already, okay, so that's the old function, that's why. The OK button has to go on confirm OK, and the cancel on confirm delete. Why did I call this delete? How stupid am I? I'll confirm cancel, on confirm cancel. This is what we want instead. And then it's gonna break the reference, most likely. Still hasn't updated. And there we go, it broke the thing. Let's put it back and on confirm cancel. And finally, the last step, we need to go back inside of the game manager and set all of those fields. So we have the save menu itself. That would be the save and load. We have the confirm menu. The save list and the save prefab, we're not using them just yet, so I'll just skip and try this out. Okay, let's check this out. Let's do... That works. We already know that works. Let's open up the save, and if we click on this... Oh, it's actually the green one. So when we click on the green one, we have our save menu. Save button is going to open up the confirmation. That's cool. We can click on cancel to actually cancel everything. We can go back here, do the loads, you can do the same thing, and just cancel in general. So they all work, but we're just not really sending any parameters just yet. We're not sending any data, which is what we're gonna do in a moment, so we can have our save working by the end of this episode. I'm doing the exact same thing you're hoping to accomplish in the future. Hey, just keep going, man. I've been doing this for a little while now. Like, I've been doing this on YouTube for a year, but I've been doing this, I think since 2013. And you come to a point where it just flows in your head. It's just easy. Like, you dream about it sometime, and you just have all this code flow going on in your head. There comes a point where you don't even need to think about like C# at all. If you want to be making games, the only thing you need to worry about is finding an artist. Really, that's the only place I'm struggling with right now. But if you just keep going, you just like manage to keep it up for a year, you're gonna be so good, and it's going to open you a lot of gates, a lot of doors in the game industry or just software industry as well. And then you might be expanding, say, on the web servers and creating all those kind of stuff. So a lot of good comes out of this if you just decide to put some times in it. Just gotta make sure you sleep. Don't do like me. Just go to sleep, because if you don't sleep, you end up with these things, which kind of sucks. Okay, let's go back to what we currently have. I want to be loading data in here. Actually, I want to be saving first. So for our save and load, we'll have to fetch the block array, put that into some kind of data structure, and then load it back up. It's public. Do we have a instance of that? We don't, so I'll be creating one really quickly. A public static game manager instance, a set and get. And in the start, we'll say instance is equal to this. And back on my save manager, I'll do a game manager.instance.blocks. Now we have our array. We got to be converting this into some kind of data structure. Now, I could be doing like a for loop and just saving all of these inside of a string. That could be like a possibility. But I think there's a way in Unity that you can actually serialize all that kind of stuff in a single call. So let me just Google something really quickly. It's called serialization, I think. And I've never really used it in the past. So if we go here, okay, it's not something I'm going to learn on the stream, so I'm just going to be using a method that I already know works. I'm going to be converting all of this into a single string. So, string save data is going to equal nothing for now. And then for every single blocks we have, I'm going to be saving the position in the array. I'm also going to be saving the data inside of it. So for each block B in GameManager instance.blocks, so for every single one of those blocks, let's first start by saving the array. And since we're going to be saving the array, I need to actually swap this around for something else. So for int I, or okay, yeah, so for int I is equal to 0, as long as I is smaller than let's do block array b is equal to this one for, okay, so as long as smaller than b, but now I need to find which, I need to find every axis of the array. So how do we go about doing this? I already know that this number is 10, but if I just hard code it here, I might forget about it in the future. Since I don't want to be like taking too much of random time on the stream, because I've been doing that in the beginning, I'm simply going to be hard coding this, and there's going to be a point where we have to clean this up. Okay, so let's do a 3-dimensional 4. Well, not really 3-dimensional, but let's do a 3-level 4, as long as j is smaller than 10, g++, okay. So k is equal to 0, k is smaller than 10, k++. Now with this, we're able to iterate through our whole array by doing b, I, g, k. And what I want with this is create a save data, so this thing here, I want to say plus equal, and then we're going to put the array, we're going to put the index first. So I'm going to go with something like I, toString. Let's split it with a pipe sign. So 124, alt 124. Actually, I don't have this key on my keyboard for some reason, so I have to write it down using the alt code. If you're wondering, this is alt 124. Next thing we want is G, toString, plus a pipe, plus K, toString. Again, I'll do another pipe here. So I know that my array is 3-dimensional, so I'll just grab this. This I know is going to be like the X, this I know is going to be the Y, and that's going to be the Z. And afterward, that's going to be the data for my block. So how do I go about doing this here? I'll declare a block, so block, current block, I guess, is going to equal b, then I, g, and k. Then we're going to say plus current block. The transform, I can't really, I don't really have a reference to transform, which is quite normal, so we'll just go ahead and write down the color. Now, I'm not sure how this is going to end up looking like in the code, so I might have to convert this to an int first. Because it might actually write down my, how do I say this? It might actually write down my enum, which is not something I want. So right here we have the information about this, that works, okay. Cannot convert into string, we'll find out how, like this. Cannot convert string to int. Is it gonna write? Okay, let's do it like that instead. Once we're actually done with a block, we're gonna be using something else to just say that we have a new block. So plus, I'll be using the modulo sign to split my blocks. And I think that's going to be it, really. That's going to be my save data. So at this point, I am going to need... Well, I'm going to do like a temporary save right here. I'll say player pref, save key, or nope, not save, set string. My key is going to be test for now. We can change that by a custom string. And the value is going to be save data. So let's give this a try right now. I'm going to be using this thing, this piece of paper. And we're going to try and just create a small object, something that is really easy to tell, so... Oh, stupid fly. And if we just go ahead and create some color here, just some random color. We try to save this now. And accept. It says no reference. Why does it say no reference again? Maybe current block. Okay, so current block.color, I get it. It says no reference because there is no block basically. So let's just make sure that there is a block before we actually save some data. This way, it also makes our string smaller if we don't have a lot of blocks. So our actual save string is going to scale with the amount of blocks we have, which is a very good thing. So if current block does not exist, or actually let's use current block is equal to null, we're simply gonna not return, we're gonna be breaking. Or can we do break or continue? I think continue is gonna be working better in this case. Let's try this again. So can't actually create that. Oh, no reference. What is this? I think I broke my webcam. Kinda sucks. Alright, we're back. So just creating a bit of cubes, we're gonna say this color is cool, then the blue color, and a little bit of red. Let's save this. Let's see. I'm gonna head over to my registry. Find this game. This game is called, in my registry, I think we didn't give it a name just yet. So it's supposed to be called something like Default Company Augmented Reality Legos. So let's head over to Default Company Augmented Reality Lego. So my test string is right here, so that's my string. Of course, a little bit hard to tell right here, but you just have to read it this way. It's at the index 106 and uses the color 3. And then afterward there is another block. The reason I know there's another block is because we split them using the modulo sign. So all of this thing, all of these 3 rows, well, I mean, this side here is my string, and over here on the left is just a XML representation of it, which we are not going to read. But it seems like the data is correct. I mean, for the colors, we're not seeing anything above 3, which is perfect because we have a total of 4 colors. So 0, 1, 2, and 3. 0 being white, 1 being the other one, red, then green, and then blue. So as stupid as it might seem, we've got this working already. Now let's go ahead and just try to do the load before we polish all of this thing. That's our unconfirm OK. Unconfirm OK can be clicked if you're saving or if you're loading. So in this case, we need to know if we are saving or loading. So private bool, I'll just say is saving. Now, if we click on save, we're gonna say is saving is equal to true. If we click on load, is saving is equal to false. Unconfirm OK, we launch this. Okay, we're gonna do another function for this. Public, actually private, we don't need to call this from anywhere else, private void save and private void load. Take all of that and put it inside of the save. Now back on my unconfirm OK, I'm gonna say if is saving. Then we do save. Else we are going to be doing load. In both cases, we're going to be using this string right here, the test string for now. So we know our save works. We've saw it inside of the data. Now, in terms of loading, it's going to be a little bit different. Because then, in the loading, we have to instantiate cubes. Now, should we actually be doing this inside of the save manager? We actually have access to the block array, so yeah, why not? Let's actually do that right here. Or actually, no, we are not going to do that right here because we need to have access to other functions as well, such as position block, which is only inside of the game manager. What we could do is make this public. Position block, we can make it public and call it from the save manager. Might be a little bit weird though. Let's try it. So public void position block, and instead of our save manager, we're gonna say, well, first we need to get the data. So player pref get string We'll make this dynamic later on, but for now this is test, and that's all. So string save is going to equal to this, and then just afterward we need to split the string. So we're going to say string block data is going to equal to save.split. We're splitting the string for every single block, and blocks are being split right now. They're being split on the modulo sign, just like this. And it is a character, so you have to put it inside single quotes. Oh, let's make sure this is also an array. At this point, we can do a for int I is equal to 0 as long as I is smaller than block data dot length I++. So we're iterating through all the strings we have, so all the blocks data we have, and we have to do another split here. So I'll just call this string current block, and we do a block data at the index I split, and we're splitting. This time we're splitting on the actual pipe sign. If I can stop pressing on the wrong key, there we go. So we're splitting on the pipe sign, and then just afterward, current block at the index 0 is going to be equal to our x. Current block at the index 1 is going to be equal to our y, and so on. So let's do int x is going to equal to int.parse. Since we get it inside of a string form, we got to make sure we also parse it. So current block at the index 1, int z, int.parse, current block at the index 2. We have our x, y, and z. Now we need the color, so int c for color is equal to int.parse. This one is at the index 3. And we pretty much have everything we want. Do we need a dot length -1? Do we need a dot length -1? No, we don't here, because I'm not doing a actual smaller equal. I'm actually only doing a smaller, so we don't have to use -1 in this case. Okay, so where was I? Was right here. We were supposed to instantiate a block prefab. This, okay, we don't have a block prefab. This is where I was a little bit worried. At this point, I think we can just create a block. A function is going to be creating a block from here. So public void create block. We already have one that creates a block, I believe. Here it is. But we're going to make this public. We're going to create another one that is public with different parameters. So public game object create block, and it's going to take in x, y, z, and color, in this case c. Or even better than that, is going to be taking a block b. And do we actually need to do to return a game object? I don't even think we have to return a game object. Well, let's return it, and if we don't use it, we just don't. That's gonna be pretty much it. So here's what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be doing game object geo, instantiate a block prefab like we usually do, and we're gonna take the material. The material is gonna be equal to b.color in this case. Gonna be casting this as an int prior to that. Then we return the game object even though we're not really using it. The other thing we have to do in here that we're not doing in create block, and maybe we should do it in create block, is actually assign a position inside of the array here. So how do we go about doing this? We are gonna say b.blockTransform is equal to geo.transform first, but then afterward we do blocks with an s at the index b.x. Oh, we don't have b.x. Okay, so that's why I did the coordinates before. Int x, int y, int z. b, x, y, and z is going to equal b. And I believe this should actually work. done a lot of code without really testing it, so let's just wrap this up and give it a try. Game manager.instance. We have our create block that takes in parameters. In this case, it takes in a block. We don't have a block. Let's create one. So block B is going to equal a new block. In terms of data, we don't have anything right now but the color. So color is going to equal C. Or do we have to cast this? Yes, we do. Block color C, just like that. Then we send B. We send also the other parameters, so X, Y, and Z. Okay, this should, I believe this should work. Let's hopefully not have any crashes. That'd be great. We have our blocks. Oh, actually, we already have some saved data, so we don't need to do anything. Let's just save this. Load. Okay, so I think we got something. However, as you can tell, got some issues. Format exception. So string was not in the right format. This crash at the int.parse. Let's deal with the first problem. The first problem being that when we create a block, we never really set the size here. So when we do a create block, we also do this line. I'm going to be putting it inside of both function actually. I'm going to make sure that we rescale inside of those functions. So we don't need this anymore. We don't need this. And we also need to position it. Yeah, I was a bit stupid. We forgot about positioning this thing. We position our b.transform, and we position it at the new vector 3 x, y, and z. We probably didn't fix, well, we didn't fix the input thing, but we're gonna try with that. Okay, so we do get something of the sort. I believe this was how my object looked when I save it. I'm not really sure if it did. We still get the input error, but I think that's because of the very last thing, the very last string. There is something wrong with that. Going to try delete this one. This is a little bit weird. Gonna do something simple that we can remember, like your red cross. Why not? No, that we can remember quite easily, right? Going to click here, press on save. Make sure we save this. Go back, click on load. And here's my red cross, so it definitely did work. However, my menu was not closed. The reason it wasn't closed is because we had an error and it crashed beforehand. But as you can tell, we loaded the whole thing, which means that it was able to actually process this for until the very last thing here. So my issue is, when we save, at the very end we add this thing, but you know, there's one remaining at the very end of our string. Which means, if I just open up the regedit to show you guys, this is fine, everything is fine, until you reach that point. At that point, at the very end, there is this extra character, and this extra character is going to make sure that you create another string with, you know, this dot at the end, which is set there by default. So we need to make sure that we get rid of this last character, or get rid of the last actual index when we read or when we write. I am feeling like we can actually get rid of it when we read. So check this out. I is smaller than block data. We can do that -20 we're talking about, but it's not because it's gonna go out of range or anything. It's simply because I don't want to read the last index. But this could actually work. If it's not working, we're simply going to go back into the save and get rid of that extra character at the end. So I just loaded my object. It works. I still have all my nice stuff in here. What I'll be missing in this actual save function that I'm not going to be doing right now, I'm actually going to take a break and come back to this a little bit later on. What I'm going to be missing here is the actual option to save this with a name, you know, like call this Red Cross. I think you need to hide the Lego creation when the picture isn't recognized. What do you mean by that? Do you mean like... Okay, so you mean like the actual structure and building, like when I load, we don't want to be seeing it on the right hand side, like right here, because the picture isn't here. Yeah, you're right, we could be hiding this, so the way I would go about doing that is creating an empty game object, just save everything inside of it. So when I instantiate my blocks, I just save them inside of an empty game object. And when the picture isn't seen, then I'm simply not, you know, I'm not showing them. So that's my thing here. We have something. And I am going to be taking a break from now, and I'll come back to that. I'll fix this issue you just mentioned. This is a really good fix we can do, and also just expand on the save menu a bit. Then afterward we have to do, if I just follow my little chart I've done here, we have to do a menu scene, something really simple. We just, you know, so we don't just boot the game and the game just projects your face or projects your living room or anything. Just some kind of interface beforehand. And what else do we need to do? I think that's going to be pretty much it. Afterward, we can go ahead and clean some code, clean some UI, make this UI actually, you know, like with icons and stuff. And we'll go from there. So thanks so much for tuning in the stream. Thanks so much for donation, man. Really appreciate that. Thanks so much for just sticking around. I will stop recording now, and I will come back to it later this evening, but right now I need a break. So I'll see you guys around. Peace.